Hello viewers, in this video, I am going to cover function. Let's begin. In the first program, I am going to cover function. I have created function called addition, with parameters a and b as inputs. Int at the beginning of function, indicate that function returns integer value. I am performing addition within function, and returning the result. In the main function, I have created two variables, num1 and num2, and passing these variables to addition function, and assigning the value returned from function, to variable sum, and displaying the result, using cout function. In the next program, I am going to cover defining functions. Function can not have same name as keywords. If the function is defined after main function, then we need to declare the function prototype before main function. Prototype contains function name, input parameters for function, and type of output returned by function. In the next program, I am going to cover const parameter. If we use const keyword, then the function treats the argument that are passed as constant. Using const keyword is only useful when parameter is a pointer, because arguments are passed by value. I have created function display name with parameters as constchar array, which prints the name, and function disp name with parameters as pointer to constchar, which prints the name. In the main function, I have defined char array for first name and last name, and passing these values as parameters for functions display name and disp name to print name. In the next program, I am going to cover pointer to function. I have created function addition, which returns addition of two input numbers. Function multiplication, which returns multiplication of two input numbers. In the main function, I have defined two variables, num1 and num2 with values. Define variables to store sum and multiplication, and define pointer to function. I am pointing the pointer to function to addition function, assigning the value returned by function to sum and displaying the value using cout function. Now, I am pointing the pointer to function to multiplication function, assigning the value returned by function to mult and displaying the value using cout function. In the next program, I am going to cover static variables. If we define the variable as static, then value doesn't get destroyed when execution leaves function. If we define the variable without static, value gets destroyed when execution leaves function. In the next program, I am going to cover global variables. If we define the variable as global, we can access the variable from anywhere in the program. We can access within main function, within other functions. But static variable can hide the global variable. In the next program, I am going to cover variable scope. Scope of variable defined in outer block exists in inner block. But scope of variable defined in inner block doesn't exist in outer block, and scope of variable defined in function is only within the function. I have created variable I in outer block, and assigned value as 10, and displaying the value using cout function. In the inner block, I have defined same variable I again, and assigned value as 20, and displaying the value using cout function. I am calling the dummy function, where I have defined variable I, and assigned value as 30, and printing the value using cout function. If I print the value of variable in outer block, it is referring to the variable defined in outer block, and not the one defined in inner block, or one defined in function. In the next program, I am going to cover function recursion. Function which calls itself is called recursion function. I have created function factorial, which calls itself till the value becomes less than 2. In the main function, I am prompting to enter a number, and reading the value using cin function. Then, I am passing the value entered to factorial function, and storing the returned value in fact variable, and displaying the factorial of number entered, using cout function. In the next program, I am going to cover function variable number arguments. Variable argument list require cstd_arg header file. I have created function sum with variable argument list. Created pointer called var for variable argument list. Initialized the variable argument list using va start function. Performing sum for variable argument list. Ending the variable argument list using van function. And returning the sum. In the main function, I am passing 3 values in first function call, and displaying result using cout function. And passing 4 values in second function call, and displaying result using cout function. In the next program, I am going to cover main function. Execution starts from main function. Main function can be defined with no parameters. Or we can define first parameter as integer, which represents count of number of argument, including name of program. Second parameter is array of pointer to string. I am displaying name of program, using argv of 0. Performing sum of parameters passed, using for loop, and a to function to convert string to integer, and displaying the sum of parameters, using cout function. In the next program, I am going to cover exit function. Exit function quits program. Exit function requires cstd_lib header file. I have called exit function within dummy function, because of which statements after calling dummy function is not getting executed. In the next program, I am going to cover static function. If we define function as static, then function will be visible only within source file, in which function is defined, and function cannot be called from other source files. In the next program, I am going to cover system function. System functions require cstd_lib header file. Using system function, we can run another program, or issue commands. Example, dir command. In the next program, I am going to cover function overloading. We can create multiple functions with same name, but with different data types for parameter, which is called as function overloading. I have created 3 functions called sum, with parameter for first function as 2 integer values. Parameters for second function as 3 integer values. And parameters for third function as 2 float values. Calling these function with different types of values and displaying the result. In the next program, I am going to cover Lambda function. I have created Lambda function called sum. and calling the function to get the sum of numbers. We need to use std equal to C++11 while compiling. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are preparing for interview, you can buy eBook on C++ program interview questions from the Amazon link given in the description below. Please like this video, click on subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you won't miss any video updates. Thanks for watching this video.